Welcome everyone to another Knocked Conscious. I've got Tyler Todt down here. I've got Brent Freeman over here, and I'm just excited. So, Tyler, you have a very short amount of time with us. Welcome. Thank you for inspiring us to jump on here so you can share your inspiration with us, man. Welcome.
Brother, it's an honor to be on here. Although now I feel terrible about my own YouTube show after seeing your intro. That's fire. What a baller intro you got, Mark.
That's Jason to Drop the Mask. Drop the Mask pod. He did our intros, guy. I'll get you guys connected. He'll hook you up. He loves doing them. So
that's awesome.
He just had a baby girl. So congratulations.
That's awesome, man. So. Many blessings to him.
He's co-host. That's why he's no longer the co-host. He's focusing on the family. So I love it. I'm
good
really
man.
happy.
Good man. Got the priorities right, man. Well, yeah, I've connected with Brent several times. I love this guy a lot, man.
Yes, sir.
You and Mark are boys, and so it's awesome to hop on here and jam a little bit with you guys, man.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. So I literally just got thrust into this weird post, and Brent was talking about this thing. Brent and I came across each other very recently, just a month or two ago. But I want to start with this one question because I just watched you with Zuby. I get vibes off people. So when I meet people, I get vibes. When I don't get vibes, that's a good sign, actually. Like that generally means authenticity, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when I watch you speak, I get no vibes off of you. When I watch Brent speak with guests of his, I don't get vibes. You're totally different people, but the authenticity like screams to me. I pick up on that more than anything. I asked Brent earlier this week, and he hasn't asked his wife yet, but I wonder if both your wives had that same thing. Your wives probably are your intuition for you in a lot of cases, I would guess. Brent talks about his daughters and his wife, right, Brent?
Yeah, I've got no vibes, man. I'm like a person that's missing a sense when it comes to like picking up on vibes around people. I'm dumb and blind, and so I literally use my wife and my daughters as a prosthetic sense. I always tell like, hey, like what about this person over here? What do you like? Oh, they're trouble. I'm like, okay. I start to, and it sounds bad. Like I used to think like they were just being mean, but invariably my wife would be within 5 seconds of meeting somebody. I know there's something wrong with this person, and I would find out maybe 10 years later, but she's always been right, like 100%. So now if any of my kids or my wife are like, hey, this is a problem, or this is a good person, like I get good vibes off them, whatever, I just like take that as gospel. I'm like, okay, I realize I don't have this ability. I'm going to outsource it to them.
And this is the question. So Tyler, to you and Brent, is it your wives that sense that same authenticity? What would you say is the one thing about you as the core Tyler that is like the one thing that your wife gets about you?
Man, I think it's that, like, and to piggyback off what Brent said a little bit, I'm like a dog. That's the joke in our house, bro. I just wake up happy every day. I trust people, this or that. And I'm just like a happy kind of go lucky guy. Most days I'll hit a burnout point every now and then where I'm pretty miserable to be around every now and then. But most days I'm just a pretty good vibes guy and happy and grateful and this or that. And so there's been many times, man, where if I look back and say in business or relationships or partnerships, wherever it might be, I'm like all in. I've met this guy. I've known him for 9 minutes. He's my best friend. I'm ready to wire him $100 grand and we're going to do this deal. And my wife is always the one that's like, hey, take a breath. Let's look into this. And so I very much trust her perspective, her wisdom on a lot of that stuff too, because I'm a dreamer by nature, right? I'm like a big ideas, let's go conquer the world type guy. I think it's a cheat code to have a woman in your corner who has a lot more common sense than me on a lot of things. And so, yeah, I think if you ask my wife a little bit about me, man, it's, I think she likes the energy and she likes, she'll say to me a lot when we're out, how do you just like make friends with like you're pumping gas and now you and this guy are going to go meet next week at the park to play with your kid. Like, how do you even do that? I think she kind of likes that aspect a little bit of it, but I think I like hers a little bit of it. And we've probably made each other a little better in that, coming to the center of like, okay, we don't need to be best friends with everybody. Like in college, they wouldn't tell me about parties until 20 minutes before they started. Otherwise, bro, I'm inviting everybody. It's supposed to be a gathering of 15. We got 150 people now. So that's always been my MO, man.
Well, you're in Vegas area. And it's funny. You mentioned being a pro poker player. I actually played in the World Series one of the events 8 eons ago, probably before you were born. But no, I played in 2008. So you might have been playing back then, but not sure.
I was actually probably playing the World Series poker then too, man. What event did you play?
Okay, nice. Yeah. What's that?
What event did you play?
Oh, I played the bottom event. I paid my way in. It was $1,000 no limit.
Nice. Yeah, I played a couple of those, man. 1500s and 1Ks back in the day.
Yeah, I used to get comp monthly to go to Vegas, so it was kind of nice. I drove there, watched the bridge being built, as I drove from from Arizona, because we're neighbors. So
right.
It's really cool though. But like, I love watching this, and what I think so authentic is I find myself authentic, but not as positive as you, because I see things, perceive things very differently. So how are you able to express this level of positivity without it feeling fake? Because I've seen motivational speakers left and right, and I'm not saying you're like putting you a label on you, but people in the motivation world where they just inspire by doing and being and speaking. But when you speak, it's like, yeah, I feel like you've done it. It feels real to me. So how is that? How are you able to do that?
I appreciate that, man. That's a compliment. If you would have known me a decade ago, you wouldn't have said that. I could, especially as a poker player, man, I could find reasons to be unhappy or say I was unlucky or this or that. But as I sort of got on
the rivered way too many times, man. I know.
Oh yeah, he two-outed me again. I'm so unlucky, right? But I don't know, man. As I started kind of meeting different people in different spheres and growing on Twitter a little bit too, I just noticed a common theme, whether this be with like Zuby, Zach Hom, a lot of these guys I really look up to. I'm like, they just make a conscious choice to talk positive, to see the good, to believe good things are going to happen. And I almost like brainwash myself, dude, at this. I think life is rigged for me. I really do. I think everything's designed for me to win. Whether that's true or not doesn't even matter to me. I just believe it in every depths of my soul that good things happen to me. The right people are coming into my life. And then I'll couple that by saying, and me and Brent talk about this, and maybe this is a hard thing.
That's my boy, by the way. That's Jason.
Nice, But there are a lot of tough things in the world, man. Let's just call it what it is. I don't believe being positive is like, I always say, I don't have a garden outside and walk to my garden and say, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, and there's no weeds when it's full of weeds, right? Like, no, if I want there to be no weeds, I need to take action, and I need to prune the garden and work at the garden. And so I'm really careful on what I allow into my mind. I mean, I've muted Donald Trump, I've muted, like you name political figures, I've muted them. I don't like having a lot of that negativity in my head. We live in a world today where you can't shun all of it. I'm well aware of that. And believe me, man, if we wanted to have a podcast on the fraud and Epstein and a lot of this stuff, I could get real mad, man, because it's infuriating.
You just look at all my other ones that we've already done. So just look at the ones Brent and I've done.
It is like there's a lot of corruption and a lot of terrible stuff going on in the world. But I do think it's sort of like you have a choice where your focus goes, and what you focus on does expand. And so I just want to always put myself in, I just took a walk with a guy that lives an hour away from me here in Vegas, man. That's a pastor here to church. And we're talking about good things, how to build a business, the weight room, stuff like that. I'm just meeting buddies. I'm trying to do positive things all the time. I try and talk about with my wife what we're grateful for, why we're blessed, how we can help other people. Like, it just doesn't do a lot of good, I found. I tried for 34 years to just complain my way to a good life. It doesn't work. And so I just don't think it's a good strategy. And so I do think, man, what you focus on is going to expand. And so not that we need to not acknowledge that there are problems and that we do need to work on things. We need to make the world better. But I think it's just a better strategy to focus on the good and help where you can, rather than focus on the bad and be kind of sucked down into that negativity, if that makes sense.
I love that. So I'm curious to hear a little bit from Brent's perspective. How did you two meet? How did you guys cross paths, and how did that work?
It's weird, man. He was the first person I invited on the show. And I think it was because I just started off on Twitter at the time, and I think I just dropped like 80 pounds or something. And I just did the podcast. I had the idea for the podcast. I'm like, this is what I really want to do. And Tyler and I were on a thread, and it was like we were responding to some guy being a complete jerk online in the same way, trying to respond not in kind, in a positive way. And I was like, this is an interesting dude. There's not a whole lot of people on Twitter who are like, oh wow, they're beacons of positivity, and they're behaving as gentlemen. So I'm like, this is somebody I want to get to know better. And so I just reached out to him on DM, and I was coming out to Vegas. I remember we were heading out to Vegas, and for some reason it didn't work out. And so, but I always tried to circle back, and I was like, God, we got to get Ty back on the show. And actually, I ended up getting Zuby first. I flew to Dubai, did the in-person with Zuby, and then after that, Tyler and I set up a show, and then I did his show, and we've been kind of connecting in the background. Like, I'm coming out to Vegas to hang out with those guys in May, which I'm super stoked about.
Awesome.
Yeah. So he's just one of those people that, because I'm like you, Mark, you know, like I'm somebody who wants to change the world by sort of calling out things that I see that are broken. I'm like, hey, and I think I've got a gift for it. That's where I'm trying not to be too hard on myself, because I feel like I have that ability to, and you've seen it, Mark, like I can call something out months and months in advance, way before people see it.
You and I are exactly so parallel, and I'll share another one with you, but go ahead, please continue.
But so I try not to and I haven't been perfect. And I look at people like Ty and Zuby and other folks who are being very positive as aspirational figures to sort of center me, pull me back towards that. Because I noticed that the more I've been engaging with it, and Ty knows this, you know, as a victim of childhood sexual abuse. So the Epstein stuff really got me quite upset. And the fact that I've had Epstein victims on the show and other victims of sexual abuse. And I know how much it hurts people, you know, and to watch, you know, the government, you know, take half of my income and to use that to actively protect, you know, this giant network of pedophiles and child sex rapists, and like all this sort of stuff. It really bothers me to my core. And to see people that are my countrymen, my neighbors, you know, fellow citizens supporting this and backing it up, it makes me upset to the point where I just have to say something. And so I'm trying to find that balance now where I'm like, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to call out evil when I see it. But I'm also trying to pull myself back to not go to that edge, not stare in the abyss too long, because the more you stare into it, the more it stares into you, and it's got a corrupting force. So I think there's definitely some tweaks to the dial that need to be made, and I don't think I'm quite there yet. I'm still a little bit crashed out about it. I think the fact that it's never resolved, the fact that the goalposts keep moving, they're going to redact everything, we're not getting transparency, there's no justice for the victims. It really pokes at my heart in a way that I can't really describe. And unless you've had that experience of being victimized that way, it's hard for people that don't have that experience to understand how ghastly and how evil and how damaging, you know, that type of experience is. So like I said, I love Tyler because I look at his stuff, and sometimes I'll go to his page and just read some of his stuff. I'm like, okay, I need to pull myself back from the edge. I've been staring into the abyss a little bit too long.
Yeah, I think you and I are very Nietzschean about that, Brent. Yeah, we'll talk about that probably more on Thursday.
I think we're all created different though, right? And I do say, Brent,
and that's the point, right?
I admire both of you guys because, you know, I was joking with a buddy the other day. He was telling me he started to have road rage, and you know, I'm like, well, bro, just take a breath and like wave him in and wish him a good day. And he goes, you know, that's one strategy, but he goes, maybe God put me right here, right now, to smite this guy and to teach him a lesson. And I'm like, I don't know the right answer, you know, but I do think that we're all different and unique. And if everybody lived like me, I'm well aware, you can't just really, you know, I'm like 99% not politics, 1% maybe in. Bro, there would be a million times more corruption because you have to have people that do call it out. And so I'm grateful for people like you guys that go in and call a lot of these things out because, look, there is so much evil, right? And I'm very aware of that.
Right. I think where a lot of the changes, too, is where we came from. Brent being from the military, me being a neocon, coming, you know, like we have people coming from an extreme side who realize that that's not how it is. They immediately go to the opposite because they think, oh, if my side's not right, the binary must be correct. But then that's where they get stuck. People like Brent and I go, oh, wait, that's the same thing in a different clothing. That's not right either. This isn't right. So we kind of take a step back. So, and it's a purpose and meaning thing. Cause I'd love to hear a little bit about your experience, Tyler, how you nutted up and just strapped on your bootstrap, pulled them up and just got out of bed and did your thing. Cause you meant, I watched your one with Zuby, but I'd love for you to share for our audience here as well. What's really important in that is like, I had a similar thing, but I can't get out of the positivity because my perceptions are different. And I'm sure we'll talk a little bit offline, maybe even future conversations, but we're limited today. I'd love to hear a little bit about how you got to be the inspiration you became.
Yeah, real quick, man. I was managing a bank and I didn't really love it. And there's a lot of toxicity in an office culture, as most people know. It's Tuesday, is it Friday yet? I hate this place. I hate this customer, you know. And so I fell into a lot of that, man. I gained 19 pounds my first 2 years working in an office. And I didn't go to the gym, so this wasn't like muscle. And I was just not a good version of myself. There was one day in particular, my wife is such a saint, and she invited me to play with our daughter outside. It was like a beautiful day. And I yelled at her. I said, you know, I've worked 6 days this week. I deserve one day to sit on this couch and watch my football and eat my chips. And I just having a pity party, you know, and this is how I was kind of living for a couple of years. And brother, I could find a problem with anything back then. That was just kind of my mindset. And she came in that night. We kind of put our daughter to bed. I went back. I'll still remember watching a Patriots game. Tom Brady's playing, and it's Sunday Night Football. And my wife peeks her head in and just says something to the effect of, "Hey, Ty, like, I love you so much, and I hate seeing you like this, and you're not stuck. Like, you know, I'll help you get out of it. If you're not happy, like, I'm your teammate, and we can do this. You don't have to remain here." And she just left the room. And man, something came over me. I paused the television, and I remember just sitting there for a minute and just kind of like, how did I get here? Every day I wake up and I actually seek out negativity. I seek out things I won't like. I want to complain about clients I don't like. How did I get here? I'm not a good person. Yeah, probably from poker, right? Years of abuse at poker. But
well, you're drawn to it too, though, because there's something about the constant abuse of like getting lucked out, even though it's not actually, you know how it is.
That's right. But I don't know, man. I'll be full transparency. I cried that night for 2 hours, and they started out just like rage, like I'm angry. And I wrote down, I grabbed a pen and paper that night, and I wrote down, I'm going to change my life. People say it all the time, and I'm like, here's the steps I'm going to take. And it started with a few easy ones. I'm going to wake up at 5 o'clock every day. Back then, I would get out of bed at 6:52 when I needed to leave at 7:10, and everything was anxious and everything was stressed, and I'm eating Lucky Charms as I'm running out the door, and I feel like crap, and I'm always stressed. So I started getting up at 5 every day. I would read one chapter of the Bible back then, and I'd write down 1 or 2 things I was grateful for, and I'd just spend a minute kind of, okay, let me start off with something positive. Let me just start off. I'd read Proverbs or just something real easy and a couple things I'm grateful for. And then I'd hit the gym or I'd hit a walk. And then it transformed into, I'm going to change the way I eat. Instead of eating all the crap at the office, I offered everybody I worked with, which is 14 people in my staff, $100 each if they ever caught me eating junk food. So no cookie is worth $1,400. So I never ate junk food. I meal prepped every day, ate the same lunch. Instead of doom scrolling my phone at lunch and looking for negativity and things that would outrage me, I took a walk every day. Rain or shine, man, I'd go for a walk every single day. And those little habits don't sound like much, but you start compounding those over a while, and then you start, well, maybe I can give up this other bad thing I'm doing and swap it for this. And so it just started, that was the genesis 8 or 9 years ago, just this little journey of this or that. Then I deleted all the news apps from my phone, which I'll do this, news, Fox News, CNN, MSN, these aren't news, this is propaganda, right? So I got rid of all that stuff.
I only listen to that in the morning so I can yell at the little Alexa speaker and turn my girlfriend into a crazy person before she leaves the house for work. I'll just yell at the whole thing. The propaganda.
That's what it's meant to do. And then they'll sell you pharmaceutical pills on the commercials to give you the solution while you're angry, right? And so, I don't know, once you get unlocked from a lot of that and you see, I don't know, man, and we can even use current events, right? Like the Venezuela thing happens. And I have half my friends telling me this is a great thing. This is awesome. And other people telling me this is the worst thing. This is terrible. And I just don't know. And I don't know that what they're telling me is true. And I don't know that what this side, and I'm never going to know probably. And like the Charlie Kirk thing, man, it can drive you crazy, but I'm probably never going to know. Even if I do, I can't change anything about it. And so I've just made a pretty intentional decision to say, what can I really affect the most? It's me, it's my family, it's my neighbors, it's my community. Getting involved in a lot of local charities and a lot of little things here, helping people abroad, inspiring people to be a little happier and better. But again, I think that's my role. I don't think that's everybody's role, but I do feel like that's why I was put on the earth, to be honest, to do things like that. Now, I do think there's other people that have a different one. And you know, we're probably all in the middle. I should probably care a little more. Maybe both of you guys should care a little less, but we're probably all need to keep working on that, you know?
Yeah, that's a constant fluid motion. I think what it is there's a generic current flow of energy that is this thing that kind of like a jet stream that runs through, and you're either on it or not on it. Mm-hmm. You can be paddling across it, which is probably what Brent and I do half the time. You know, you're riding it. You're just riding it like riding the waves, and other people are swimming completely against it. Some people don't even know where it's at. You know what I mean? It just seems to be the way. So thank you so much for that. So Brent, during Tyler's story, when did you come across it to find him as an inspiration? Like how did you first?
Well, he was well established at that point. Like I used to watch his stories. He has the best threads on X going through, and I love about him. He's transparent about the past. You know, he's not like somebody who's like, I'm perfect. I've always been perfect. Everything's great. Like he's super. He's super raw, man. Like he, you know, and I've got a lot of struggles going on in my life. You know, I had a really rough childhood. I had difficulty with family stuff, and like I look up to him, and because he's like, hey, I was there. You know, I think that's what's cool about, you know, him being an inspiration is like, he's like, I've always been at, you know, at a 10 here. Like, it's like, dude, like he was in the dumps too. We can relate. We've all been there, and he's transparent about those struggles, even if they're like embarrassing, even if they're like, it's super raw. And I think that takes a lot of guts because social media is vicious. You know, like I've got a small following, like 4,000 followers or something, and people are coming at me like left and right about the craziest stuff. And I watch the attacks Tyler takes on even having like, you know, kids that aren't white. Oh no, I've adopted some like it's, I mean, just horrible attacks, you know. And so to see somebody have the bravery to just be like, look, I wasn't always this way. I think it's better being, you know, approaching life the way I'm approaching it. Maybe you could benefit by my example. Like, I think that is what resonates with me. It's like, it's something that you think like, okay, well, I can get there too. I can improve my life if I adopt some of the lessons that Tyler is putting forward. Because as you know, as you get older, like the best lessons you learn are like the school of hard knocks. Like I made a mistake. I bumped my head into the wall a bunch of times. Hey, I did this for you, so you don't have to. Like, you don't have to learn the hard way. You know, trust me, bro. Like, look at my example. Look at my life. Like, this should be an example for you on how that you could maybe live a little bit better. And so, you know, like that, he had already done that arc, and he was out on the other side. You never really get there. I know Tyler. Like, he's pretty self-conscious still, and he's like, I know I've got flaws, and he admits them all the time, which is great as far as the authenticity goes. But
that's the humility that allows you to fix it. I mean, come on, there's a point where like, I'm healed. I mean, come on. If you ever get to a point where you think you're healed, that's probably when you're broken before your first real epiphany. When you think you got it all figured out is right when you're about to reach that next whatever break might be, right?
My favorite story in the Bible is King David, man. When he didn't have anything and he was like a hungry guy, he walked up, it's like, I'll kill this giant, I'll chop his head off. You know, like shouldn't have had that courage. And then you fast forward 10 years later and he's like, I'm going to kill my best friend to sleep with his wife. Why? He was king. Do whatever he wanted, you know? And it's like, yeah, man, I appreciate you saying that too, Marcus. I struggle when people say like he's got things figured out or this. Like, I try and be real transparent on Twitter and in real life I tweet a lot. I'm at the gym and I this is the last place I'd like to be right now. I'm about to go have a 1 out of 10 workout. I hate everything about being here right now. I would have rather stayed in bed. You know, but just get up and go and have a crappy workout with me. You know, I think those are the people I always vibe with. And I think that's probably why I'm attracted to Brent. You're a real person. It's not like, you know, I'm acting like I have all the answers to everything on it. It's like, oh, I actually don't know. And I need to learn that more. I think that's why I hate politics more than anything, because I'm yet to find one of them to come out and say, you know, man, I was over here and then some new information came in and actually now I'm going to pivot here. Like, you know how refreshing that would be? Like, it's always like, no, it was their fault. The previous.
That was me and Michael Jackson, by the way. I believed all the allegations with Michael Jackson, and then I watched this other thing that completely changed my perspective. And then I had a 3-hour conversation with Michael Jackson's nephew. It's like a completely different world from what the world was painted to us from what the reality was. Even I talk with like journalists from the UK there was a guy who broke the Shrewsbury sex pedophilia ring, Charles Thompson. He won an award for it in the UK. And he's like, Michael Jackson is not this. And you're like, you're talking about people from abuse, like Brent, yourself, for example, then that see this and they don't see what the characteristics are. And that's where the interesting pattern recognition comes in, because blaming someone illegally or wrongly is just as bad as the person getting away, because it dilutes the actual effectiveness of said issue or something like that. But let's stay positive, man, because this has been so good, man. You just make me want to get up out of bed.
Before you move on, I want to call out something that's really, really important. Is that I think people get way too married to the ideas that are in their head. Like Tyler called it. Like it's refreshing for somebody to say, I believe this, and I got hit with some new information. And I've taken some extra time and I've deep dove into this. And I realized I was actually wrong. And I think this is actually the truth right now. There's so few people that do that because you get tied into either ego, right? It's tied. It's my idea, so I have to defend it. Whether it's right or wrong is irrelevant. I have to defend this thing to the death because it's my idea. You identify with it, or it's my team's idea. Like this is what we believe. This is over here, and this is part of my identity with the group identity. It's beyond personal identity. It's like sort of like a second order identity. And those two things drive a lot of mistakes. I think people get ossified in their thinking, and they get rigid, and they get vicious, like a badger that's been cornered. And they like to attack people if anybody says anything about their idea. And so I think this is where, Mark, you and I are really much, very much alike in this regard. It's like we're curious, we're exploring, we're open, and we can point to like 90 other times we've changed our mind on something. We don't sort of hold on to with a death grip being right, or like, I don't give a crap about that. Like if I'm wrong, if somebody shows me I'm wrong, I'm like, thank you very much for correcting me.
Thank you. That is science. Prove me wrong, please. Like,
exactly.
So we can be right. The closer to the right. Yeah. That's
Exactly.
a great point. And Tyler, to your point, I'd love for you to delve into this a little bit, is people just think too much. Like Brent, you and I are probably like that. When we start feeling a little down in the dumps, when we start getting depressed, how do I get out of it? We start thinking about how to do it. No, just do something and then correct as you go. You have to move, get your gills, get the water flowing over the gills, become the shark again. You know what I mean? Like you have to actually act first. It's so antithetical to how you and I think, Brent, right? Like we think, oh, I can think my way out of this. I can, whatever. No, you just have to kind of step first and then correct. I love your thoughts on how you figured that out, Tyler, to just act instead of think about it all the time.
Yeah, I wasn't a great student, to be honest, man, but I do remember the one Newton's or Isaac Newton. I think it was object in motion tends to stay in motion, object at rest tends to stay at rest, right? I think that's with our mind. It's a really cool thing, man. I'll have clients do this a lot when I'm coaching them. I'll have them close their eyes and I'll say, I'm going to count to 3. Then you look for everything blue in the room, right? And I'll have them do it. And then they'll close their eyes again. And I'll say, tell me the blue things. And they'll be able to tell me many things. And then I'll say, now what was yellow? Oh, I have no idea. I was looking for blue things, And it's like, okay, well, again, what you focus on expands. And so when I'm feeling really low, and I get there, trust me, man, I actually believe I have sort of like I'm high positive, and then I get on a very extreme high about 3 or 4 times a year. Pretty open with this. Can remember all the way back to my teenage years. And then I always know about the time I think I could be president of the United States, I could fix things, I know I'm going to hit a 3 or 4 day low. I kind of tend to cycle.
And it's a crash. It's like it's getting rugged. I mean, it's like a void. You talk about like a power vacuum. Yeah. It like sucks everything out. Yeah.
Oh, bro, then it's like, it's hard to get the mail. It's hard to write something you're grateful for. Your mind is consumed with some negativity. And so I have a process I go to now on that. And it's super easy. When I feel myself in that, I sit quietly for about 5 minutes and breathe. And I just get myself as conscious as I possibly can. And I actually picture myself move into that frontal lobe where I have control, where I'm not just autopilot, but I can choose to raise my hand. I can choose to keep it up. I can choose to put it down. I'm in control. And then I make a list of 5 of the easiest things that you could ever accomplish in your life. The first one is always the same. Make a list. Okay, man, boom. I already got a win. I'm making a list. Number 2, drink a water.
20% of the way there already. It's great.
That's right. Drink a water. How easy is that? Number 3, text somebody something that you're grateful for about them, or, text your mom how much you love her, text your wife how much you love her, go tell your kid, give them a hug, how much you just go try and make somebody's day a little bit better in 1 sentence or 1 little action. Take a 10-minute walk, come back and write your next wins. That's a process that I have gone to about 100 times, and our brain, if you actually study like your neural scans, man, it creates a new pathway. Then when you're going negative, you've hit 5 wins, and all of a sudden it's got a new pathway. Now we got momentum. The object is in motion. It wants to stay in motion. It wants to look for new yellow things. It wants to discover ways to win. And so that's a really, really powerful way to just get yourself out of a rut. Now, not that there's been days I've done this 4 times. This isn't like a magic pill. Half hour later,
it's a process. It's sometimes it's rinse repeat kind of thing just to get it going, right?
That's right. And I think coupled with, you have to have something bigger than yourself. And for me, I think it's, I feel responsible to my wife and kids. I feel responsible to the people around me. I coach a lot of clients. So it's, for me to lay on the couch for 5 days in a row and just drink and smoke pot and eat Cheetos, I'd let a lot of people down. And so I have that awareness of why I need to do what I need to do as well. And I've kind of built in systems for people depend on me where I can't languish for long periods of time. I can certainly tell people and have before, bro, I'm in a terrible headspace. We can't do a coaching call today. I've done that. And I need a day.
You have to, because you will hurt that person.
That's
you
right.
will unintentionally affect that person in a way you have no idea how it could happen if you're not whole.
How can I get better? You can't. Life sucks. It's awful. I paid you for this. So yeah, I think it's having that sort of deeper why behind you of why it's so important I get up and get in motion. I read mine back to myself sometimes, of why I want to get up and go.
So Brent, do you have anything like that? I would assume you have manic and depressive moments like we all do, where you just are like, you hit this peak and then crash and you're like, I got to get out of this.
I'm not that way. I think I probably have a little bit of, like, real talk. I'm probably a little bit hypomanic sometimes. Like I will go through, and this comes to, I'm well aware of myself and like what my limitations are, also my gifts. And I'm ADD as hell, which means I'm interested in a million things, which makes me great in a lot of ways, right? But I'm also low conscientiousness. It's always been a struggle for me, and also maybe hypomanic. So I get like Ty, I can see this like grand vision, and I come down off of that, but it's not like I don't have a crash. I don't have a depressive side to that. Like I've never been a depressive person, which is weird because of my history. I'm told from everyone I've went to for therapy, they're like, you're really lucky that you don't suffer from like anxiety and depression. So I don't really have that thing, man. Like I get emotional about things. I get upset about things. I get like this righteous indignation. Like I want to change the world for the better. That sort of goes.
Do you think there's a little Messiah complex in you?
I don't think so. I think there used to be. There was a time.
Because I think I have some of that, but not from like I'm the solution. I'm just part of the message. Like it's still part. You know what I mean? Like it's not me. I'm just a conduit of, versus like the thing out. If that makes sense.
It does make sense. And I get why you asked that question, but I don't think I have that anymore. I think there was a little bit, but it was like, I think it came from being so hurt that I wanted the world to be better in a fundamental way. I thought maybe I could change it, right? So I had this delusions of grandeur that I can change other people. And I think maybe 5-10 years ago, I just came to this point, like I can't change other people. I want to be a voice. That's why I have the show. I want to sort of put my voice out. I think I have important input to the conversation, but I don't stress about changing anyone's mind. You see me, Mark, like I just say it. I say what I think.
100%.
This is what I think. I will call people out if I think they're being evil. I'll say all the things, but I also am at peace in the fact that I see the world as like concentric circles of control. They're the locus of control with yourself. Like you have full control almost. I mean, certainly with things you can't do. Somebody with guns are going to come and do something to you if you break a law or whatever. But like for the most part, you have way more control. It's like the meme. Like you can just do things for the most part. And in your family, you have the second most control. And then beyond that, in your local community, like it goes outward. And everybody, I think, gets tied up in like, I'm going to change the federal government. It's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're not going to move the needle at all. So I think when I was younger and more naive, I thought maybe I could affect this grand change. I don't think that anymore. I think now I'm just like, I'm so at peace with like, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to try to focus on becoming a better version of myself, trying to put positive vibes in the world and try to, call out evil, but also lift up good. Like I think it's two sides of the same coin. Having some balance is somewhere I could probably work on, but I'm totally comfortable letting the chips fall where they may. It's like, that's not my thing. I'm not going to change everyone's mind. And I'm totally okay with that. So I think when I was younger, more naive, maybe a touch of that, but I don't have it. I'm very much at peace. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to go out there, try to do my best in this world, try to do my best at work with my family. And maybe I can provide some value to somebody online, maybe take some ideas of mine and run with them and maybe expand their worldview or learn something cool about science and consciousness. I know, Mark, that's one of your big topics. I like to have fun with it and I'm not stressing. So right now I have 0% of that.
Yeah. I think a misconception is like us showing some issues is not just us complaining. We're also doing stuff on the back end for ourselves. Like I'm trying to, transition into precious metals, things like that, or looking at homesteading or looking into certain things or how to work and build a community, talking to your neighbor more often, things like that. I love that as well. It's such a great thing. So Tyler, if I make it back to you for a second, Brent and I don't want to speak for Brent, but we're not of the faith the way I think you are.
Mm-hmm.
Would that sound right, Brent? Is that sound
Yeah,
right?
no, Tyler and I have talked a lot about this.
Again, I love chatting about this stuff too.
And this is the thing. I know we don't have much time. I'm sure we're gonna have more Peterson-like value of the Bible versus factual Bible versus truth Bible kind of things, because I honestly think that the Bible's loaded with truth, and the problem is it's not factual. And the people who there's a very large percentage of people who take it factually way more than they should take it truthfully, if that makes sense to me. And that creates a much more of the division among humans than I think it should. My question for you, though, and Brent, I'd love for you to follow up with yours, but have you had a spiritual experience where not just reading the Bible, obviously you had epiphanies and things like that, but I'm talking about, have you had one of these moments where you met God in your way, that direct link that you talk about?
Yeah, so I'll start this by saying, and I think Brent knows this about me. I always say, man, I have a faith. It's my foundation. I also don't know, and I get crucified online for saying that. But if God's infinitely
that's what I want to do, because I don't want to attack you for this, because I see you as a highly intelligent, logical person. Is once again we talk about what actually is, right, and that's where Brent and I are like truth seekers in this weird way that just creates a dissonance. But I think the way you're going to explain this is going to make it bridge that gap for us. So that's why I want to offer you that opportunity.
So the first thing I think is I've studied as a former poker player. I like odds and I like statistics, and I actually read a lot of atheist viewpoints and Big Bang, and I read a lot of Case for Christ and former atheists that said, man, everything kind of points to God. And I sort of logically reasoned after this in my own mind, it's far more likely that there's just an intelligent designer, that there's one being that created the maybe simulation we're in or all the whatever it is, but there's got to be a creator that makes more sense to me. But I get killed for this online. If that creator or being is infinitely smarter than me, who am I to say every word in the Bible means this? Maybe some of them are just stories to inspire people at certain times. Maybe some of them did happen and they are completely factual. I know at low points in my life, I've something even supernatural will cling on to me where I'll like think of a Bible character and I'm like, he got through that. I can get through this. Maybe that's what it's meant for. Maybe it didn't actually. I don't know those things. I think anybody who says I 100% know everything God thinks, I kind of dismiss a lot of what they say, because that seems silly, man. The same way I'm walking and an ant on the ground can't look at me and think, I know what he's thinking today. I know what he's doing. And God is even farther apart than that. So to me, that happened. Now, my big thing, man, I grew up in the church. I turned my back on the church and was kind of like, I don't know. I went to college. I started playing poker, making a lot of money at poker. I was in co-ed dorms, and I literally flat out told my parents at 19, maybe you need church. That's awesome for you. I don't. I'm having a lot of fun over here. I don't want to follow these rules. I'd rather go do my thing over here, right? I did that for 7-8 years, and to be honest, I won. I would say that game of life, man. I drove a $75,000 Benz when I was 22. I was the first person. I bought a house on a golf course. I made $1.5 million before I was 28 years old playing poker. I had a house on a golf course. I was at nightclubs with famous people, with Playboy Playmates in my booth, right? Like I had everything you could ever want. And man, it all came crashing down when I was like 27, 28. I just kind of realized one night, what's the point? Like, what's the point of this, man? I don't know, like another nightclub, another DJ, it just doesn't, a little more money. It just, nothing made sense to me. And I got very depressed. And then I ended a relationship of 4 or 5 years that I had. And I had this condo in Chicago, man. And I would sit up there by myself drinking a lot of nights. And it was 21 floors up. And I just overlooked the city and just think like, my desk bays are behind me. There's no point to anything. Like this just, life sucks. And I don't know, man, I'll get to the point of faith where it kind of hit. I messaged randomly a guy who is a preacher, and I just remembered he always seemed pretty happy and like pretty joyful. And I just messaged him at midnight one night, pretty drunk. Hey, Eddie, I chased everything the world told me to chase.
Wait a minute, you drunk text a preacher?
Oh yeah, at midnight.
Dude, that is the best drunk text I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah.
This is going to be clipped for all the ages. Drunk text to a preacher.
So I texted him and I said, hey, Eddie.
What are you doing?
Yeah, like I have everything the world told me I should have. I'm around beautiful girls and have access to them. I go to the best nightclubs. We had a table last night with professional hockey players next to us. We eat great meals. I have free time, all the things that people would tell you want, and I'm miserable. And I said, can you tell me why, or is there something you can point me towards? And he said, meet me for coffee. He actually texted me back at 12:05. And to this day, I'm like, do you ever sleep? It was a Saturday night and he had to preach the next morning. And I'm like, you ever sleep, man? But maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Anyway, we started meeting for coffee and he did never judge me, man. And I thank God for Eddie Lowen a lot because he affirmed some of my doubts. And he was the first Christian guy to say, you know, Ty, I don't have an answer for that. Like, it might take faith for you to get there, but it would also take faith for you to believe this. You go explore these questions. You go look. And he challenged me one thing, and this I'll get chills telling, man. He said, why don't you say a prayer 30 days in a row? And he said, God, if you're real, show yourself to me. And I accepted it. I said, all right, man, I'll pray that. And I actually told him, I'm such a skeptic. I don't believe this, but I will do it for you because I respect you. So every morning I woke up and, you know, kind of like, okay, God, if you're up there, show yourself to me. This was day 22. And I came out to Vegas 3 weeks into this, man. And I had the worst poker session of my life. I still remember the hand that I lost. I was down about 10 or 11.
I remember every hand I lost. What are you talking
Never the
about?
ones you win. Never the ones you win.
Oh, I remember. I got the best winning story, but that's a whole other. I'll never. That's the.
I'll have
It
a
was the
totally
most
different
amazing.
podcast for that. But I remember being down 10, 11,000, just pretty miserable, angry. And it's around like maybe 1 a.m, man. And I'm staying at the Wynn Hotel. If anybody's familiar with the Wynn, I put on headphones and I walk out the Wynn and I go for a run and I turn right and I just run down. And it's kind of the ghetto. You kind of don't want to go that way, especially like in the morning. But I'm just
That's
pissed.
towards Sahara, right? You're running towards Sahara and all that.
Sahara,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah, I
Man.
know.
And
Yep.
I make
I
a
know where
right
you're at, yeah.
down probably not another great neighborhood. And I'm just running, man. And I have probably at this time, it's an iPod shuffle. I had 0 Christian songs on my iPod. Like I listened to Tupac, I listened to Biggie, I listened to Nelly, I listened to all this stuff back then. So I'm running and that's what's on. And all of a sudden, man, to this day, I have no idea how this got on there. Holy is the Lord God Almighty popped onto that iPod shuffle. And I got pissed, to be honest. And I skipped to the next song and I said, how could you let my life get here? I don't have I'm like, my girl left me. I'm miserable. I literally started shouting at God as I'm running. And bro, I'm probably running a 5-minute mile at this point. I'm running. And I kept running and I kept running and I'm angry. And the next song that came on out of 1,000 songs was Holy is the Lord God Almighty. And I don't know, man, there was like an image of my preacher telling me, pray that prayer. And I thought, that's a sign, man. I never put this on my iPod. I never asked for that to be there. And I literally, man, I got down to my knees. I was crying. And I said something to the effect of, God, I don't understand you. I don't understand what's real and what's not, but I believe you. And I'll investigate it, essentially, you know. And I started going to church shortly after that. And my faith has grown a little more than that. And I could tell you a couple more miracles if you ever want to hear them since that.
We'll talk more.
Yeah.
Sure.
And, you know, that's the foundation, I would say, of my life now. Now, again, if you ask me, do these ancient texts, are they this or that? I'm not going to have answers. And I'm not going to have answers how the Holy Trinity, is it one? Is it God's real son? Is it? I don't know a lot of these answers, but I do have a faith that there's a being God that created the universe. I think he created each one of us individual and he cares about us. And I think that's a better strategy to even think about than just we're here randomly and nothing matters and then you die and it doesn't matter. I think it's good to think I have purpose. And I believe Jesus Christ came down to earth and lived an absolute perfect life. And the lessons of him, whether you believe he is divine and the Son of God or not, when I study his life, I'm just like, that's how I'm kind to a-holes online. Like, that's the strategy I want to choose to live by because I think it's a better strategy to live. And that's
to bridge that, it's Christ is Christ consciousness in the spiritual world, because it's like it's the act of what Christ would do, right? Like it doesn't need to be an actual human being who did these things for those acts to be good.
Of course.
Right? Like those acts are pure and good without the human who does them. Like they're good for on their face, right? They're objectively good, I guess. But then the other thing is too, to bridge that gap, is when you broke there, you surrendered. That's like, I'm not from the religious world, but that's the religious term, is a surrender. I did the same thing where I literally said, what's next? I just stopped. I had to let go. You had to let go. And that actually put you along the current of whatever that flow is by letting go, and it took that break for you. The break's different for everyone. Yours was financial. Some people in AA getting a motorcycle accident, near death. Mine was, I just didn't feel like I want to be here that much anymore. Like, everybody's got their bottom end. Brent, did you have any notions of that in your life? Challenges where you broke?
No, kind of my story. Like, I started out religious, but I didn't have that spiritual experience, and I sort of over time believed it's not true, and I still believe it's not literally true. But I'll also come around, I think, metaphorically, to your point, Mark. It's true in that these narratives have embedded wisdom of the ages, and you will end up better if you believe they're true or act like they're true and follow those precepts. Right? I completely agree with Ty. Like, if I could flip the switch or like push a button and make myself a Christian again, like actually believe, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Like, I tell people this all the time because I think life is easier that way. I think it is a little bit of a cheat code for getting through life. Even something like the thing I struggle with most, which is these, Epstein things, like believing there's actual justice at the end, some final form of justice, allows you to wake up and remain positive and not get sucked down by it. And if I could turn that program back on in myself, I would do it instantly. I promise you.
I totally get it, guys. And we've got about 10 minutes left for your time, Tyler. I want to be respectful of your time. But Brent, you're absolutely right, man. It's the same thing as like those little truths get us through. You know what I mean? And we'll talk more because, Tyler, you haven't heard what I went through. You haven't heard my experiences yet. And if you did, you'd be like, oh, that's interesting that we're even talking the way we talk. So, yeah, I'll share some stuff with you. But is there anything you guys have before we call? Like, I'm so honored and blessed that you could even share an hour with me. I'm still looking for change in my sofa cushion, but I don't think I'm going to do it. But I really am trying. I'm trying my best. But my girlfriend and I visit up there 5-6 times a year, so maybe we can connect up there too.
Well, hey, I actually have one thing, and I want to give Tyler the floor because I want to talk about I want to have him talk about the meeting that we're going to have in Vegas with Zuby. Like, I think I'm so excited about it. I want to hear more. Also, I want to give him an opportunity to maybe invite some other people to come.
Oh, man. Yeah, Mark, you should join us for that, man. So it's May 28th, 29th, 30th.
Keep me just one spot open. Just keep one spot open. I am trying my best, but I might lose my girlfriend over this. Not because she doesn't think I love her, but like she's like, you're too all in on everything here. So I'm just saying. So I might need you guys to.
Man. I will say this too, man, Mark. I've had 2 wives or girlfriends actually mail me letters and call me. One of them after the retreat, about a month after, was one of them, and say, I don't know what kind of cult weird thing you guys run there in Vegas at these men's retreats, but thanks. My husband came back just like a better version of himself. And so whatever you guys did, thanks. I think sometimes it's a hard sell on the wives. Come to Vegas. There's 15 guys that are what are you guys going to do out in Vegas? It's cool, man. We call it like a mastermind men's retreat. And all we're doing is getting a group of 15, 20 guys together. We stay in a mansion. I bring in a personal chef, all kind. We do really cool stuff, man. We hike and climb sand dunes in the Mojave Desert. We race around some cool stuff. We got some really fun activities. Bring in some cool speakers. Zuby's there. If you don't know anything about Zuby, just Google Zuby. One of the guys who's had a big Zuby
for everyone who doesn't know. Yeah,
that's right. And so, man, we share a lot of wisdom. We network a lot with each other. I have a lot of like guided activities and things we do too. But really, man, we talk about a lot of the deep stuff. Meaning of life type stuff, how you become the best version of yourself, how you reach different levels of consciousness. We do a lot of deep breath work. We've had guys, describe it like, man, we had one guy who came last year who smoked pot 4 times a day, every day for the last three decades. And he did breath work with us. And I'll never forget, he goes, I can get high on my own supply now. And he hasn't smoked pot a year since, man. So, he's actually dude on Twitter.
But does it turn off his dreams? No, it does not. No, it does not.
we're just interested in becoming better versions of ourselves, man. And I always say it is biblical, but I think it's just a truth again that iron sharpens iron. And so you don't need to be a Christian to come on this, man. My favorite thing is I've had guys come on this. I had one that was I can't remember what's the name. What's Tom Cruise? Scientologist, yeah. He's a devout Scientologist. And he said, is it okay if I come? And I said, of course, just be respectful what we do. We'll be respectful what you do. We've had guys come on that have no faith to Jewish faith, to different faith, everything, right? So it's kind of come as you are, man. Everybody's respectful to everybody, but it's something real powerful getting 15 people that all want to grow in these areas together and sharing ideas and networking. So yeah, anybody's interested in that, man, shoot me a message anytime on Twitter @TyRomper. And yeah, man, I'm happy to share info and do anything we can to get you to one of those, because would be a lot of fun, man. And again, you're not.
I want to do it.
People who are.
Am I on your screen, guys?
No, we lost your camera, Mark.
Yeah, so keep talking, guys. I don't know what's happened. I tried to remove myself, but keep going. But I'm here.
I think you're going to find people just like me and Brent.
I'm looking.
Don't say we have all the answers to everything. Even the quote unquote leaders of some of these things. Zuby is a guy who, you ask him questions. This is what works for me, but it might not for you. But here's how we can apply it to your life, right? And so you won't find any gurus that are perfect at these things, but you'll find a lot of guys who just want to keep getting better at the areas of their life that are important to them, which is generally all about the same. And we all kind of want the same stuff, man. We want a deep purpose and meaning in the work we do. We want to be fit and healthy. We want to be great dads and husbands and leaders of our community. We want to be, financially free and work towards that and build businesses and create things we love. So it's a great network of people there, man. I'm excited to hug you in person, Brent. It's long overdue.
Yeah, dude, like for real, man. I'm so excited about it. I seriously am. It's a very rough last 2 years for me. Looking like things are changing. The current is starting to change, and this is something that I've been looking forward to for some time, because I don't have a lot of people like you in my actual life. I'm one of those people that, I have that really stressful career in tech, and my life is dealing with, I got 2 adult children who have disabilities, and I'm taking care of work stuff, and like my wife's having back surgery. Like you can list all of the things that have gone wrong in the last 2 years. It would be a book probably the size of the Bible. So I'm so excited to sort of just connect in person with such a group of like-minded people that are all aiming the right direction. Because I think that the saying is really, really true, that you're sort of like the average of the 10 people you hang around with most. And I need some more great people in my life to help me improve.
I think we all do, and that's one of the coolest things about this. And we always do. I should throw this in, Brent. I think I told you before you signed up, but every time, at least one night, we have a conspiracy theory night where everybody's like, throw out your wildest one. Let's talk about them. Let's share this. What do you think about this?
I guess I can't come. I'm out because I got ones that are like, what the fuck?
It's always interesting, man. And I've completely changed my view on certain things from talks at these. Like I was literally 100% on certain issues. And then I'm like, okay, man, I've moved all the way over to like 10% now on some of these things, So it's awesome to get around great people, man.
Fun stuff.
It's a shame my sales have atrophied so much, my sales skills, because I got to sell this now for.
Bro, I'll hop on a call with you, man. She can feel my energy and my passion. Of how
honestly, I'm gonna get her connected with you and watch it. And the thing is, like physically, I got to try to keep up with you guys, and I know I can't, but I'll try. My will is there. My spirit will be there. I'll drag my broken ass up a hill any day just to do it, because you can't tell me I can't.
Mark, my favorite story of all, I've run 14 of these conferences, man. We had one guy come on, and I won't say his name. You might not want me to, but he was 290 pounds, I think, when he came on. And he was like, 5'8", 5'9", very, very overweight. And he kept saying leading up to it, I don't think I can do a hike or this or that. I said, don't worry about it, bro. We've had guys just make it halfway. That's the win. Take a couple more steps. You got 10 guys cheering.
Every step's a win, man. Totally. Yeah. It's not about the whole thing. It's about bettering yourself.
That's exactly right, man. Well, dude, he made it up this sand dune a lot of the way, and he gets probably 80% up, and he's, I need a break. There's already some guys at the top. Every single guy comes down, and we all sit with them for a while, and then he takes a couple steps and sits a bit, couple steps, sits a bit, couple. That guy made it to the top of that sand dune and screamed like I've never heard a guy scream before. And he said, a part of me died on this hill today. I'm going to go home and change my life. And that guy lost like 50, 60 pounds, man, in the next 6-7 months.
Part of them lived that day too, though. That's
right.
The rest of them live. And that's my story too. Brent and I share like a weight loss story. You had the same weight loss. I'm 5'7", 5'8", and I ballooned up to 315. So I'm down to 195-ish now, but it was a struggle. Like I was going to beat John Candy. I was going to eat myself to death. I was going to die at like 42. So that's how I perceived my life until I did what my stuff that I worked on. So
for you, man, the whole system is designed for us to end up that way. I ended up on anxiety and depression meds, man, when I was 34 years old, right? The system is designed for you to end up that way. You got to break free from it.
Yeah, you gotta do it. And that's probably the perfect thing. Guys, anything else before we call it? I'm just so grateful for the time because I know the hour goes so quickly for us. Should be called time warp because it's like there goes an hour.
Let's hop on once a month together, the three of us, and can't you share these on all of our platforms when we do them?
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. I'll get together with you guys.
We'll have some fun, like some of them on faith, some of them on a current event, some of them on consciousness.
That'd be great.
All these things, man. I'd love a moon landing one. I'm still 50-50.
Yeah, I did a whole I'll send you the 3 podcasts I did on moon landing.
Oh, I love that, man.
I only did one. I'm just kidding. I only did one, but still, I'm sure Brent did a couple too. But yeah, that would be awesome. Like, I think this is a great thing for like men's health, men's energy. Like, we're different generations. Brent, you and I are even probably different generation than you, Tyler. And then you've got your kids, so you got like the alpha generation. You've got probably almost run the gamut with everybody's kids and everybody. So we can be a message for a lot of people. Well,
cool, man.
Everyone, thank you again. Before we call it, before you give all your stuff, before we call it a day, this week is crazy for myself. Tomorrow, Jake and I have an If by Whiskey. We have Raw Egg Nationalist on. So we are going to be, big get. Jake hooked that one up. I'm super excited. Then Brent, you and I on Thursday get to talk with Sterling Cooley. So that'll be my first conversation where we'll talk consciousness. My head's already ready to explode. So before I call it, Brent, can you share all the ways to get a hold of you and your podcast and your awesomeness, and check out episode number 1 of your podcast as well?
Yeah. So Aiming Up Podcasts on all the platforms. At B Gets Better is my personal Twitter handle, and I've got the clothing company, Anarcho Syndicate Clothing Company, Anarcho SCC on Twitter, and anarchosyndicate.com.
Yep, and you work with Maj and do some other stuff. You got some collaborations on the way.
Yeah, work with Maj Teray on some 2A gear. Yeah, it's fun.
I love it, man. Thank you. And thanks for joining, man. Thanks for jumping on and connecting us, connecting Tyler and myself. Tyler, please share all your information and we'll call it a day. And thank you again, gentlemen, for joining.
At Tyler Todt or at Ty Romper on Twitter, TYROMPER, best place to get a hold of me. Shoot me a DM, say what's up. I'm on there every day. Tyler Todt, TODT is my info on YouTube, on at all the other spot. But I would actually tell people, if you're only going to follow me or Brent, go follow him. He's criminally underfollowed. His podcast is so good. I've been on 100. I've had 100 episodes of my podcast and been on 100. Your podcast is my favorite one. I've told you that before. You're so good at what you do. I really enjoyed watching I forget her name, and I apologize, but the Epstein gal.
Oh, Juliet Bryant. Yeah.
That was so good. You were so patient and asked great questions. So yeah, man, I would urge people, you're criminally underfollowed, man. We need to get you. You should have 40,000, 400,000 followers on Twitter.
No, don't wait that on me, Ty. Like, I've seen what happens when you get too big, man. You're just trying to send the crazies my way.
People, man. You mute people and you stay winning. That's what you do, man.
Right on.
And cheers, in all my humility, it's now your second favorite podcast that you've had with
Mark. I really do. This is awesome.
I'm just kidding, man.
I turn down like 90% of the times I get asked to come on a podcast. So I'm grateful to do this one, and I'd love to do it again, man. You guys are both awesome.
Well, thank you so much. And like I said, I think one of the biggest keys here going forward is, as we see the Bonginos trying to get back into the speaking world, authenticity, ladies and gentlemen, authenticity.
Keep it real.
Be real. Be really asshole. Be really great, but be real, and you will attract real. That's just what it is. And that comes through more than anything, I think. Thank you, everyone, again.
Isn't Bongino the guy who said, "Don't let up on Epstein," and now he's like,
the one.
Epstein.
He's the one. And now he's calling us the liberal black pillars. Yeah, he's calling us the liberal black pillars. All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you again. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another Knocked Conscious. Guys, stick around for 1 second. We got an outro, but we're going to call it in a second here. Thank you again. You guys have a great day. Take care.